Welcome to this episode of the 12 Principles of Permaculture. This is a mini podcast series where I go through each one of David Holmgren's 12 Principles of Permaculture, and we kind of talk about our interpretation and what it means to us and how we incorporate that principle here into our farmstead. So today we're on number 4, and I've been actually really excited about this one. Principle number 4 is self-regulation and accept feedback. And on the surface, that sounds super boring, but the reason I'm excited to touch on this is because I'm a very impatient person and I'm a go-getter. And when we moved into the homestead, I had this massive list of all these things that I wanted to do. Things have changed a lot on the property in the 7 years that I've been here because I've had to adjust my perception, adjust my expectations, and even change my plans and my intentions. And I've come to realize that permaculture, especially because we're mimicking patterns in Mother Nature, it's a waiting game. Permaculture is a game of patience. And so I would love to go out and buy massive trees that cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get a quicker apple harvest or pear harvest, but I can't do that, right? So I can't afford to buy the big trees. I can't afford to buy massive shrubs. It takes patience. And then also I'm moving things and I'm adapting, and I built a pond and I built a second pond because water's an issue. So it kind of becomes about understanding that we can't hit the ground running all the time. We can't just get the task list done, because if we're truly going to be open and receptive to feedback, especially from Mother Nature, who goes slow most of the time, we have to slow down. So that goes into the second piece, which is feedback acceptance. And I think a lot of folks would take that to mean like, oh, do your friends like your garden? Are you getting lots of likes on Instagram? Truth be told, and this is no offense to anyone that follows me on Instagram or to any of my friends, the only feedback that I am truly honestly concerned with is what Mother Nature is telling me. So, for example, I had to learn how to farm from ground up, and when I did, I originally installed my orchard trees where my horses are now. And guess what? I did not know, because I was new to horse keeping, that horses were going to use my trees as belly scratchers. That's feedback. That orchard location was not going to work as also doubling as a horse pasture. And I know that sounds really dumb looking back now, but it took time and experiences for me to learn these things. Other things that take time. Some plants aren't suitable to my climate. Some plants are better suited than I thought they might be. Weeds, I've learned to read weeds. Burdock, for example, doesn't just grow anywhere to be a nuisance. Weeds are opportunists. And so burdock will grow where it can develop a long taproot, and it grows in poor soils that tend to be moist. And we have a ton of those in our front yard decorative garden beds. So now, rather than just pull that out and consider it a nuisance, I know and understand that that's actually telling me something. And then the other thing that I've learned with regard to feedback is phenology. So rather than go by planting dates on a seed packet or follow the calendar for when I should be planting something, I'm receptive to what is going on around me immediately in my backyard. So I follow things that when they bloom, for example, like crocuses, I would then plant peas. I feel Mother Nature and its timing with its relationship between environment, weather, plants, animals, and insects are all clues as to what I should be doing in my garden at any given time. And then the other thing when it comes to feedback is seeing what is working. We have swallows that have shown up at the farm, and we never had those here before. We started hearing owls off and on recently, which is pretty cool. We didn't have that before. Spice bushes are showing up, which I did not plant, and they only self-seed in truly nutrient-dense and rich agricultural soil. So these are all things that are telling me that what I'm doing is making Mother Nature happy. I'm on the right track. And so I think that's the type of receptivity to feedback that we need, more than listening to what people say on Instagram. So that's it for today's principle. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we will be back with episode number 5.